Tosin? नहीं रहने बैठो कट मत नहीं कर लो ए गौस गौस
सर इसे थ्रेड में है सर
मुझे काम है बस बाद में बात
इंग्लिश
हाँ
तुम्हारी ट्यूशन में जाना था ना
देख हाय चार्जिंग करनी चलेगा
क्या बोल
हाँ
ये तुम जाते वक्त क्या पढ़ते खाली मजाक कर रहे थे पढ़ते नहीं
राइट जा बैठो जा पढ़े पढ़े अजय स्कूल में मुझे एक मैथ्स कराता हूँ बोल कर हाँ
Guys, please mute yourself so that we can get started. Shamini, do you want to start now? Shamini, you are talking on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Hi all, welcome to Cryo Sprint Java 1. Are you all able to see my screen? Okay, yes. I know you will be having lots of doubts. You can ping your doubts in the chat. We will answer all your questions towards the end of this orientation session. So let's get started. Okay, the agenda for today is you'll meet your sprint team and then your enrollment checklist, sprint plan, weekly rhythms, and how to get started with your pre-work and create your CodeWars profile. So this will be your sprint team. Pallavi would be your lead mentor. She'll be taking your live session, Slack discussion, and sprint website is created by her. Chetan would be your sprint manager. And Srivatsa would be your TA who will be taking your live Q&A sessions, and he'll be providing one-on-one help with your Cryo Help Center. And myself, Shamini, I'll be your customer success associate. My number, you can find it in the, sorry. My number I have given in this slide deck itself. You can find it under my pic. If you have any doubts, you can ping me on WhatsApp or you can give me a call. So coming to enrollment checklist, I know few of them are not done in this. This will be done, or everything will be getting over in 1 or 2 days. If any of this is missing, you can raise a ticket in the help center, which will be demoed in the later slides. Okay. And your first one would be you need to be added to WhatsApp group. There are two types of WhatsApp group. One is for Sprint website, Sprint, and one is your peer-to-peer discussion groups. In your Sprint WhatsApp groups, you can't send anything. Only we'll be posting the Sprint messages. But in peer-to-peer discussion groups, you can post your doubts and you can discuss with your peers. And then you have to be added to your Slack channel. And you will need to be having access to your website and Google Drive. will be your Java 1 website. All details will be present in this website, your team, your curriculum, and this will be the Google Drive link where you will find the live session recordings if you happen to miss the session, and the slide decks also. Here is the WhatsApp group invite link. If you're not added, you can use this link and get added. This will be your weekly schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'll be having your live session. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you'll be having your live Q&A. Here is a live demo for how to use your help center, help.cryo.do. If you have any queries with the TAs or with the program, you can raise a ticket at help.cryo.do. And as a pre-work, you will have to create a CodeBars profile and a Replit profile, and you need to submit the profile links for us to track your progress. Here is the video to show a demo on how to create an account, and also I'll show a live demo after some time. Now I'm handing over it to the Pallavi. She'll be explaining with the sprint plan. Pallavi?
Yeah, sure, Samini. Can you open the slide deck? So yeah, hi everyone, I'm Pallavi. So I'll be lead mentor for this sprint. As it is about my industrial experience, I have close to 7 years of experience, and I'm working with Cryo from past 4 to 5 months. So that's the brief about me, and I mostly work on backend technologies like Java, Python, Kafka, and all those. I have some experience in cloud as well. So that's pretty much brief about me, my industrial experience. Now let's come to the sprint plan. So as part of this sprint, we will look into the basics of Java. The most important focus will be to get everyone started with Java as a programming language. So in this sprint, we will focus mostly on Java basics. So the whole sprint is scheduled for 4 weeks. So in first week, we will look into the basics of Java, that is Java syntax, basic introduction of Java syntax, then what are the data types, variables, and looping and methods. So this will be the curriculum for first week, and going forward in the second week, we will look into some concept related to arrays and string, and also error handling. And along with that, we will also try to learn debugging skills, how to debug your code and all. The third week onwards, we will get started with collections and classes. What are collections? What are classes? What is object in Java? And fourth it will be a catch-up week, mostly for revision and practice session. And in case if there are some leftover assignments from the class schedule, it will be a buffer week to complete those as well. Any doubts related to curriculum? Any clarification required here? Okay, fair enough. Shamini, can we move to next one? Okay, so this will be the weekly schedule. We will meet on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:30 to 9:30. And it will be for 2 hours. All the live session will be done on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we will meet on alternate days, I guess. And you will also have Q&A session, which will be scheduled on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So in Q&A session, if you have any doubts related to assignment, or if there was some clarification required from the live session, if there was something left out, if you have any doubt or something like that, you can get it clarified in Q&A session. And in case if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out on Slack channel as well, or WhatsApp group, whatever is available. We can talk directly. But in case if you want to get it clarified next day, you can make advantage of Q&A session. Next one. Okay, I guess Shamini can give you a brief about it.
Okay. You need to create 2 accounts. One is Replit and one is CodeBars. You will be doing your take-home assessments in your CodeBars profile. See, this will be your code bus. You need to create an account giving in your email ID. And then click enlist. Here you will have to choose Java. Give view profile. See, your code bus account is created. When you go to your Sprint website, every week under week 1, week 2, same like your problems will be posted over here. When you click on the problem link, it will be redirecting you to your Codebase profile. You can sign in and you can do the problems. You need to sign in with your own ID and do the problems. So coming here, you will be having your demo videos over there. You can watch the video and create your Codebase profile and your Replit profile and submit the form. Can you all do that? Try that once now and let me know if you have any doubts. If you go to the Sprint website, you will find it over here. Video for a Codebase, video for Replit, and you will have to submit the form. This is the form in which you will have to submit. If you click on the instructions, you will get this Google form. I'm pinging this in the chat. Am I audible now? Yeah, okay. You can go through the videos and try creating your Codebase and Replit profile and submit it in this Google form. You can take 5-10 minutes time and let me know once that is done. I'm pinging you with the live, video demo links also. Yeah, I have pinged you the website link also. Okay, guys, you can submit your CodeVars and Replit profile after the session also. But once you submit that only, we can track you. I'm handing over it to Pallavi. She'll be starting with session 1.
Shamini, can you stop sharing your screen? We'll get started. Um, hey, hi guys. Hi everyone. So everyone, please try to create your Replit account because we are going to use that today. In case if someone has not created, please create it. Can I get answers for this if everyone has created their account, Replit account? Guys, those who have not created, I can wait for 5 minutes, but please create an account because we are going to use Replit today. Okay, let's wait for 2 minutes so that everyone can create it. It won't take more than 1 or 2 minutes. After that, we can get started. Say we have already shared these steps, and Shamini has shared a video recording for you to follow that, and you will be able to create your account. Yes, Zahid, tell me. Guys, Yakshit has shared the video link in chat box. Please follow that and you will be able to do it. It won't take more than 1 or 2 minutes. It's very easy to create your account. So is everyone able to create their account, or anyone facing issues? If anyone is facing issues, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Else we can get started with the session. Okay. I believe everyone is able to create their account. So let's get started with today's session. Okay, so as I have already mentioned, this whole sprint is going to be for 4 weeks, and we will cover introduction to Java, Java operators, loop, conditions, introduction to classes, then objects, array, strings. Along with that, we will have some live debugging session. Then after that, collections and collection framework. And we will look into some DSA problems as well, which in that we will make use of code wars. So this is the overview of whole curriculum for 4 weeks. Now let's quickly look into the agenda for the day. As part of today's session, we will look into basics of Java. What is Java? Introduction to Java. Then compilation and execution of Java code. We will try to do some hands-on together. We will write the code in Java. Then what are the data types and variables in Java? Arrays. So this covers the agenda for the day. We will look into very basic details related to Java so that everyone is on same page. They are able to get started with Java. So let's do a quick poll. How many of you are completely new to programming itself? You can just raise your hand or ping in chat box. How many of you are completely new to programming? Let it be any programming language. If you are not aware of programming itself, how many of you are completely new? Okay. Aryaman, Sayed. Okay. I believe few are completely new to programming itself. And how about how many of you are completely new to Java? And you know other programming language like C, C++, or Python, but you are completely new to Java. Pranjani, new to Java. Okay, fair enough. So I see that we have a mixed crowd here. Few are completely new to programming, few are new to Java, and they have some background related to other programming language. So not a problem. So what we will do as part of today's session, or let it be this whole sprint, we will try to cover the basic details, irrespective of if someone is already aware of programming or not. So we will keep it minimal and completely basic, so that we all are on same page and everyone is able to get the same type of understanding. So let's get started with today's session now. Okay, so what is Java? When you hear this term Java, what comes to your mind? Guys, you can write your answers in chat box, or you can unmute yourself and speak, whatever you are comfortable with. What is Java? Any answers? Okay, Java is programming language. Okay, anything else apart from that? What is Java? What type of programming language it is? Anything which is different in Java compared to other programming language? Okay, Java is object oriented. Java is language readable to human. Okay. Object oriented programming language, backend language. Okay. Okay. Anything else apart from this? Platform independent. Okay. Yes. High level. Yes. Scripting language. Okay. Class based. Anything else? Anyone wants to add to it? Okay, it is used for app development, correct? Okay, fair enough. So I see that we have got very nice answers here. People are able to put up their thoughts related to Java. They at least know what we are heading towards. What do we want to learn out of this curriculum? I see that we have multiple answers, like Java is a programming language which is platform independent. It is object oriented programming language, class based, and high level. Yes, all this adds together actually to define Java. Yes, Java is a language which we can write once and run anywhere. Yes, it is same. It is on same line what we have got earlier. Java is platform independent. So everything sums together for the Java definition. So let me try to brief about Java from my end, based on whatever answers we have got here, and whatever we have got the answers, right? It completely sums up the Java, what Java exactly is. Okay, so let me brief it again. So Java is a programming language which is class based and object oriented, which has lesser implementation dependencies, and it is platform independent. Java is fast compared to many programming language, which gives it a basic advantage, because of which Java was very much popular and is very much popular. So these are some of the basics related to Java, and I guess everyone is able to understand what Java is. So any doubts related to what is Java as a programming language? Any doubts around that? Okay, we have a question here from Purva. Is it needed to create Replit and CodeWars account from same mail ID registered with Cryo, or some other mail ID is fine? Purva, I'll suggest you to create with Cryo account, because they want to track your progress. With Replit and CodeWars, you will have to submit your user ID and they will be able to track your progress. So I'll suggest to use Cryo account itself. Okay. How long is this session? So each and every session will be for 2 hours. Arshdeep? Okay. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the slides again. So is everyone clear with Java? At least you have basic understanding what Java as a programming language is? Yes, no? Any doubts around uh, if someone is at least not able to understand what Java is, okay, which session I'm attending, I'm not able to understand what Java is. Any doubts related to it? You can raise your question here. Okay, fair enough. I see that everyone is able to understand the basics of Java, what Java is exactly. So in today's session, right, we will keep it completely hands-on so that together we are able to code in Java. So now we know what Java is, advantage of Java, how we can make use of Java. So now let's try to understand how we can code in Java. Relationship between name, file, and classes. Okay, fair enough. So everyone, please open your Replit account, whatever we have got. Once you have created, you will be able to see main.java. Please open that. Okay, okay, fair enough. Now, if you will see, we have created a file named as main.java, and we have a class named as main.java. So what is the significance here? Why have we created a class with name as main, and our file is also named as main.java? What will happen here? Can someone try to answer this? I know we haven't covered it. We will cover that, but at least I want to see if someone is able to understand the relation or not. Okay, Purva, yeah, that will be output. But here what we are trying to understand, okay, let me just remove this line. In case if we don't have this line, now what is the relation between the class name as main and you have created a file name with main.java? Okay, this is the reason Java is class-based language. Okay, correct. Every program in Java is made as class, correct. Class name is converted into file name. Okay. Yes, that is correct answer. After compiling the name of the class, file will be same as that of the main method. Okay. And it will find the main method. Okay, correct. Yes, correct. That is the correct answer, Sneha. So OS will get the file. Okay. Program execution will start from the main method in Java. Yes, that is the correct answer. Class name is the main file, and first we'll execute other functions. Okay, fair enough. I see multiple answers have come in, and all are on same lines actually. As per the answers, right? Whatever we have seen in the chat box, everyone is on same page, and they want to intend to say whatever is the name given to class, your compiler, it will compile your class with the same name. Whatever is the name for your class, your compiler will compile it with same name. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Everyone is able to open their Replit account, right? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's try to do a ls. Just open your console. If you will see that I have opened my console and I'm trying to run some Linux command here. I have just done the ls command, which will list all the files present in that particular directory. So here you will see that I have this main.class, main.java. So is everyone able to see main.java? I know you might not be able to see main.class, but everyone is able to see main.java. Okay, fair enough. Now let's try to compile our code together. So in order to compile our code in Java, right, we have a command as javac. Javac. Then after that, you have to give the name of file which you want to compile. So everyone, please try to run this command. So Java, we all know Java is Java programming language, and C means compile. So this compile command will compile your java.main file. Okay. Everyone, please try to run this command, and after that, try to do a ls and see what you notice here now. Now, once you have done ls, what do you see here? Guys, please answer. What do you see here once you have written this command? Main.class file. Yes, class file. Is everyone able to see a class file getting generated? Okay, fair enough. So what do we understand out of this? Whatever was the file, whatever was the class name, with that we can see the compiled code. So this is the relationship between your class and whatever code you have written. With that class name only, right? A dot class file will be created, which will be your compiled code. Now we have compiled our code. Okay, now let's try to do something extra over here. We were executing this main with the class with main name. Now let's try to change this name. What I'm trying to do here is, instead of main, I'm renaming it to ABC. Now everyone, please try to run this command again. Javac main.java. Now let's try to compile our code again.
Pallavi, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, Avinash.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt. I got lost. So I just created this Replit account. I'm not sure. I just could not figure out the breadcrumb as to what I should be doing. Can you just, if you don't mind,
Yeah, no
walk over
issues.
that?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Okay, so what we are trying to do here, if you will open your Replit account, you will see that by default you have main.java class present for you, main.java file present for you?
That's what I'm not getting that. I'm not sure how to navigate it. This is the first time I created this just 5 minutes back. From where I
Okay.
should go,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
lost.
So whatever is your root directory, right? Inside that you might have created a folder. For me, I have created this foundation Java folder. Inside that you will
Okay.
be able to see main.java.
Okay. This is all created by you, is it? It's not flown from, I mean, it's not come from somewhere, is it?
Yes, or you can create one main.java by your own as well. In case if you're not able to see, just create a main.java file.
Okay. Okay.
Try creating one. Avinash, I guess you are getting some hints also from your peers. They are suggesting you to create a new REPL, and after that you can create a folder inside that as foundation Java,
Oh,
and
okay.
select
Create.
Java as a programming language. Okay. Now coming back to our activity. So once we have executed this Java C main.java, everyone please try to do ls and see what do you see there now. Okay, so can someone try to answer what has happened here? Why are we able to see abc.class getting created?
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Pallavi. Whatever they put in chat was helpful. Thank you all.
Okay, there. Okay, so everyone, uh, please try to answer this. Why do you think we are able to see abc.class now? Last time we saw that our class name was main, our file name was also main.java. So we were very much clear with it, like we were able to see the main.class getting created. But now our class name is ABC, but our file name is main.java. Then why are we able to see abc.class file getting created? Our file name is still main.java. Then why do we see class name as abc.class? Okay. Okay, fair enough. I see multiple answers have come in. So let me read out for everyone. Because we have renamed the class. Yes, that's the correct answer. We have renamed our class from main to ABC. So previously our class was class main, and inside that we had our main method, and we were trying to compile that. But now what we are trying to do is, instead of class main, we are trying to compile class ABC. So since we are compiling the class ABC, so that's why class abc.class file is getting created. That is our compiled bytecode which is getting created. So that's why Java always suggests us to create a class with same name as your file name, so that you don't lose the context. So just imagine a scenario. You have written some code in a class, and but your file name is somewhat different, and you have compiled that code. So once you will share your code with someone, right, when you will share that compiled code with someone, it will be very much complicated. uh, Arshdeep, what is your question? Where is output if we are compiling? Which output you're talking about, Arshdeep? Okay, printing. Okay, so Arshdeep, we are not printing the output yet. We are just compiling our code. We are trying to generate the class file. Now, once we have generated this class file, after that we will run our code and we will be able to see the output. So this is the first stage, compiling your code. Once you have compiled code, you will be able to run that code. So we are still into the basics of compiling of code. Okay, coming back to this point. Now, okay, okay, coming back to this point, guys, please focus here. So what I was trying to say is, we have our class file with name as ABC. Why? Because we have created that class file with name ABC because we have renamed our class in Java. So that's why Java suggests us to keep our class name with same name as our file name, so that it will be in sync. We don't lose the context, what was the intention for that class, and why we have this different file name. Because once we compile, right, the compiled code, that is dot class file, will be with the name of class. So that's why Java suggests us to always create a new file with the same name as the name of your class. So is this clear for everyone? Any doubts around this? Because this is the basic. Guys, if you have any doubt, let it be whatever it is, you can ask your doubts now.
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure, I'll repeat myself. So we have seen that we tried creating the classes, right? Is that clear for everyone? Like we tried creating the classes using the Java command, Java
Yes.
C main.java. And first time when our class name was main.java, so in that scenario, we observed that main.class file was created. Now later on, when we renamed our class file to main, instead of main to ABC, so that time what we observed, the class file which was created was abc.class. So that's why, in order to avoid this ambiguity, right, we have observed that our file name is main.java, but the class file which is created is abc.class. So in order to avoid this ambiguity, Java suggests us to keep the file name, that is .java file name, same as that of your class name. So if your file name is main.java, right, you should always keep your class name as main. Always stick to this. I mean, you won't get any issues, but you should always stick to this so that there is no ambiguity. You should avoid that ambiguity in future. Now, is it clear for everyone? Mohammed, we will come to your question. Yes, we can have more than one class, but we will see that in future session, because this is a very basic class and few people, they are not from coding background, so I don't want to go into that. But to answer to your question, we can have more than one class. Yes, it's just a convention, and we should follow this so that it will be clear for let's take example of corporate world, right? You will write code, you are working on some feature development. I'm answering the question from Sangrik. So we have a question here as it is just a convention. So for that, right, let's take example of corporate. You're working for some new feature development and you have written a new Java file. So what will happen in future? You were working on that, but later on that can be taken up by someone else. So in that scenario, right, you should avoid any kind of ambiguity in your code, so that if someone comes, they should be able to understand what is the intention for this piece of code. There should not be any ambiguity. It should be all crystal clear for them who comes up later, so that there is no knowledge transfer, or you don't have to teach them extra. To avoid those ambiguity and all, we stick to these conventions. Is it clear now, Sangrit? Okay, fair enough. So we have already seen the advantage of class main. Now let's come to the next line. So can someone try to answer, why do we have this line in Java? What is the use case of this line? Anyone wants to try? Okay, so that the code start executing from there. Yes, that's the correct answer. For inputting the arguments, yes, we can get the arguments as well. If we want to pass some argument while running our code, we can get that as well. Yes, that is also correct answer. Public access to everyone. I mean, partially it's not access for everyone. It is declared public so that JVM can access this. Yes, that is also partially correct. Start execution of the program. Yes, that is the correct answer. It's the starting point. It's the entry point. Both are on same line. So that's why I read it together. Yes, that's the correct answer. Yes, yes, from the JVM, OS will call the main function. Yes, that's the correct answer. Start to intake arguments. Yes, it serves as the starting point for the compilation of code. Not exactly. It doesn't serve as starting point for the compilation of code. It serves as the starting point of execution of your code. We will see that. We will try to get that also clarified. It's the entry point for the program. Okay. I'll avoid this comment from Sneha, like she's trying to explain each and every term. We will look into it in future, but not today, because this is the basic session. So I just want to explain the terminology for everyone. Why do we need to write this line only in class? Why do we need to write this line only in the class? Okay, Mohammed, let me first complete why do we need this line, then after that I'll answer your question as well. Okay, so whatever we have seen in the chat box, all were on correct lines. So why do we have this public static void main access specifier? Why we have this? Because once you will run your code, right, it will serve as the entry point. From there only your code execution will start. Your JVM will understand, okay, this is the file from where I have to start the execution. And from here, it will call all the linked classes. If you have some linked classes, it will call the subsequent classes from here itself. So it serves as the entry point. So that's why we need to have public static void main in our declaration. So this is a very basic part. We will look into each and every term in the future session, not today. Like, why do we declare it as public? Why it is static? Why it is void main? Then why do we have array of arguments? We will look into each and everything in this sprint itself, but not today. So I'm skipping that part as of now. So is this clear for everyone? Why do we have this syntax public static void main string args? Is it clear? Any doubt related to this? Why do we have this line? Okay, fair enough. I believe it's clear for everyone. Now coming to the question, why do we need to write it only in the class? Okay, so we compile our code. So once we compile our code, that class file will be created, right? It will be created on the basis of your class itself. So it will be created on the basis of class itself. So you need to have this public static void main inside your class, because you are creating a class, and dot class file will be created for your class itself. So that's why you need to have public static void main inside your class, because Java, right, it works on the principle of compilation. In case of Python, if you try to compare for any functional programming language, in that it works on the principle of interpreter. So we don't need not have any class. But in case of Java, it works on the principle of compilation. So it will compile your whole code, and after that only it will run. So that's why we need to have a class, and inside that you need to have public static void main. Is it clear now? Any doubts related to this? Why do we need to have public static void main inside a class? Clear? Fair enough. Okay, so as of now, we saw how to compile our code. We didn't try to run our code. Okay. So let's try to run our code. Since I have commented it out, so now I need to run that Java command again, so that it will compile my code again. So those who have commented out following me, please uncomment it, and after that compile your code again. Everyone, please try to compile your code again. Now, once we have done the compile part, we need to run that compiled code. In order to run that compiled code, we just need to provide Java, then compiled code file name. So it will be Java main. Is everyone able to see the output now? Okay, so it comes to another question. Okay, Sagnik, I was going to ask that question itself to everyone. So let's get your doubt also clarified. So what do you guys think? Which file is getting executed here when we run this Java main? Is it dot class or dot Java file? But how are we going to prove that? We didn't specify anything. We didn't write that it will be main.java or main.class. So how are we going to prove that? So let's try to prove it together. Now, yes, I think it is dot class file as it is created after compilation. Yes, Sagnik, that's the correct answer. But let's try to prove it together so that it's clear for everyone. We are able to visualize stuff. We know theoretically now that dot class file was created. So dot class file is getting executed. We know it theoretically. But now let's try to do hands-on so that everyone is able to visualize it. Okay, so now I'm trying to do ls. After that, I'll see all the files, whatever I have. Now I'll delete my file. I'll delete my dot class file. So in order to delete the class file, right? Everyone please execute this command, rm -rf. Okay, let me paste it in chat window. rm -rf main.class. So these are Linux command. We are not going to dig deeper into Linux command. Just follow whatever I'm trying to do here. So this rm command, it will remove that file. After that, if you will do ls, you will see that that class file is not present. Now try to run Java main and see what happens. Now I won't run, I'll wait for everyone else to run it, and I want everyone to paste whatever message they get. First execute this rm -rf main.class, do ls to verify that main.class was deleted. Post that, try to run Java main command and see what happens. Error message. Is everyone able to get error message? Is everyone able to get error message? Jaideep, please try to follow these steps again. Let me reiterate these steps. Okay, Neeraj, you have not written the command properly. It is Java. You have written JVA. And answering to the question from Jaideep, Jaideep, please follow the commands correctly again. Let me reiterate the command. Do ls. Then after that, you have to delete that main.class file. So for deleting part, right, execute this command rm -rf main.class. Then after that, do ls again to verify if that file is deleted. Then after that, do Java main. You should be able to see some error message. Okay, now everyone is able to get error message. Fair enough. Okay. Any doubts related to it? Now everyone is clear, right? What was the use case of class file? Which file was getting executed? Which file was getting created? We saw everything from the beginning. First, before executing the Java command, Java C command, we saw that dot class file was not present. Then after that, we executed that Java C command. Then we saw dot class file got created. Later on, we tried to delete that file, and then we tried to run Java command, and we verified that we got this main method not found exception. So now this part is clear for everyone, right? Basics of Java, what is compiled code, which code is getting executed, what is the function of main method, what is the function of class. This much is clear for everyone. Any doubts around this basics of Java? Fair enough. Now you guys should congratulate yourself because we were able to write our first code in Java. We were able to write that. We were able to execute that as well. And didn't we notice that it was very much easy? Fair enough. Now we were able to compile our code. We were able to see the output. Now this next line, the only thing left here is this system.out.println. So why do we have this system.out.println? So here what we are trying to do is, when you will do sysout, right? You might have noticed in another programming language also, and those who have not noticed it. So this one system.out.println is mostly used to print anything in your console as an output. So that's why whatever you will write inside that, that will be printed to you as an output. So that's why when we were trying to run our code, right, we saw that hello world was getting printed to us in the console. So this is the use case. Out here means out. It will give you something in your console, out. It is going to give some output. So that's why you have this out statement here. So in your system, it is going to give you some output, out, and it is going to print something. So that's why it is named as system.out.println. We won't look into the ln part. Ln is for next line. If you want to give ln, you can give ln. If you don't want to give ln, it will print in same line. So that is something which we will look into future session. But as of now, we are clear, right? What do we mean by system.out.println? Okay, fair enough. So I guess everyone was able to write their first code in Java. Mohammed, can you please repeat? Which part do you want me to repeat, Mohammed? About print statement? Okay, fair enough. So let me repeat myself for the print statement. So this print statement, right, system.out.println, it is used to print something in your console. So whatever you will write inside that, in our case, we have written this hello world. So that was getting printed to us in our console window. So that's why we have the system.out.println. It will print whatever you will write inside that in double quotes. It will print everything in your console. And this ln part is used to print in next line. If you won't write this ln, then also your code will work fine, but it will print in same line. If you have some other print statement below it, right, it will print everything in same line. But in case if you want to go with new line character, you can write print ln. So that's why we have this ln here. Is it clear now? Fair enough. I guess everyone is clear with their first program, right? And that's not the end of the day. Like we will look into some more code. In case if you have any doubts, right, you can stop me in between and I'll explain that, because I don't want to rush through this basic concept. Feel free to stop me in between in case if anyone has a doubt. Okay, so let's get started with this slide. Like let's try to understand what is the context from the slide side. So we have already done this activity. We tried to run our code, which was a very basic code with just one print statement, and we were able to print this value as well, that is hello world. So we have already done this code. Now after that, we were able to compile and execute our code as well. Now the Java command and Java C command helped us to get the output, compile our code and get the output. In order to check your Java version, right, what is the Java version running behind the scene, you can execute Java version command. Even if you're local, you are trying to install some Java, you can run this Java command in order to verify what is the Java version. So this is just a basic command, Linux command, with which you can verify what is the Java version, Java-version. So let me provide this command in chat box so that those who are interested, they can verify the Java version for the Replit. So this was the pretty much about it related to our first activity, whatever we have done. let's try to see what we have achieved so far. So this is just a pictorial diagram of whatever we have understood so far. So let's try to understand it. So here we are the programmer. We wrote this code. That was the main code for us. We wrote that main code. After that, we ran the Java compiler and our class was compiled into dot class. Whatever dot Java file was there, that was compiled into dot class. Later on, with the help of JVM, when we executed that Java command, after that, JVM took our dot class file and post that it ran the code and we were able to see the output on our respected machines. So once we have executed that Java command, after that, we were able to get the class file, and that class file was able to execute on respected respected machines. So this is what we have seen so far. We saw it theoretically, and this is just the pictorial representation of same stuff. Any doubts related to this diagram? Any doubts, any clarification required here? Because this is something which we saw while running the commands. Any doubts, any clarification required here? Or shall we proceed further? Guys, those who are not able to understand, or if there is something which is not clear from my end, please let me know, because I don't want to rush through. This is the first session and everyone should be able to get the basics of Java. Okay, fair enough. I assume that it's clear for everyone. So let's move into the next slide. Okay, so this is what I have already explained. Is main method needed in every class? Is it needed in every class or not? I want this answer from you guys. Yes, no, yes. Is main method needed in every class? Okay, I see there are mixed answers. Few folks, they are suggesting it's needed. Few folks, they are suggesting it's not needed. So let's try to do hands-on. And this time I won't do the activity. Everyone, please comment out these 3 lines. Everyone, please comment out these 3 lines and try to run Java C command and see what happens. Are you able to compile your code or not? Now, after this, once you have done that Java C command, after this answer me, do you think it is required? Yes, no. Because you were able to compile your code. I see that folks were able to compile the code, just that while running, they got the error. Now, what do you think? Is it required? No? Yes. Okay, fair enough. So I see that answers have changed now. Everyone is on same page. They are suggesting that yes, we can have a class with without main. Yes, that's the correct answer. We can have a class without this public static void main. It is not always required to have a class with public static void main. It's just that this public static void main, it serves as an entry point. So in order to start your application or in order to run a code as a standalone mode, you need to have public static void main. But there could be case, right? From a class, you are calling another class. Now that another class, okay, let me name these classes. Let's take example of class ABC and PQR. From class ABC, you're calling your class PQR. But now for class PQR, since you are calling from class ABC, for PQR, do you need a main method? Yes, no? Do we need a main method? No, right? But for class ABC, do we need it? Repeat question. Okay, yeah, I'll repeat my question. So there are two classes, class ABC, class PQR. Now from class ABC, I'm calling my class PQR. I mean, there is no independent existence of class PQR. It is not a standalone class. It will be always called from class ABC. And my class ABC is a standalone class which has the independent existence, and there I'll have public static void main. Now for class PQR, which doesn't have an independent existence, do I need to have public static void main there? Yes, no. Fair enough, yes. So I guess now everyone is able to visualize we don't need public static void main for all the classes. And for class ABC, do we need it? Yes, perfect. I guess on the first day of session, everyone is able to build a great understanding. It's great to know that. Nice. Okay, so coming back to our questions. Jaideep, what was the confusing part? Can you help me understand so that I can repeat myself? Two classes, okay. Okay, okay, what I was trying to say is you have two classes, ABC and PQR. Now for class PQR, right, you will always create its object. We create objects in Java, so you will always create its object from class ABC. You are not going to call this class PQR directly. You are not going to execute this Java command directly for class PQR. So in that case, do we need to have public static void main inside our class PQR? So that was the question. So for class PQR, right, since we are not going to call it directly, we are not going to execute this Java command directly on that. So we don't need to have a public static void main inside class PQR. Is it clear now, Jaideep? Okay, fair enough, Jaideep. We can just at least you are able to understand this part, right? That main is not required always. At least that is clear, right? Because we did this activity and we saw that when we commented out this part, we were still able to compile our code. So at least this part is clear to you. Fair enough. Okay, so Jaideep, in the subsequent classes, right, when we are talking about the classes and objects, so that time I'll make sure that whatever doubts you have, right, related to two classes and creating object from one class to another, that will be cleared out. I won't dig deeper into that today because it will be confusing for others, but your doubt will be cleared for sure in next 2 or 3 sessions. Okay, fair enough. So we saw this part and we did some exercise here. Now let's come to the next question. Can I compile and execute a class that doesn't have main method? Now in this particular scenario, right, we already saw that we are able to compile our code. So can we execute that also if we don't have a main method? No. Yes, that's the correct answer. We won't be able to run our code if it doesn't have a main method. Okay, now let's quickly start with the second activity. As part of second activity, we are trying to learn the data types. What are the data types? How to declare variables in Java. So we will look into that syntax with the help of activity. We won't just see the theoretical concept, we will do some activity together. So what are data types? Can someone try to answer that? What are data types or variables in Java? I'm looking for definition. What are data types? Not the various type of data types. What are data types exactly, or variables? To store values, char, number, boolean, yes. Data types like integer, float, type where we can store the variable, used to identify the type of value. Data like int, float, yes, correct, correct. Type of data type, a type of variables are data type. Okay, variables are places that where store data, yes, correct. Yes, that's the correct answer which I was looking for. So let me try to explain what are the data types, and then after that we will start with the activity. So these data types are the placeholder where you will store some values. So let's take some example. Let's take example of normal calculator. Now I want to add two values, 2 and 3. Since I want to add 2 and 3, in order to add those values, right, or to take input from user for A and B, I need to have some storage kind of thing, right, where I'll store those values. Let's take example. I want to get input from user as 2 and input from user as 3. Now I need to have some holder, like some placeholder where I'll store these values from the user, and later on I'll do the calculation. Yes, no? Do we need to have some placeholder for this? Yes, correct. So we need to have some placeholder for this, something to store those. So those are known as your data types or variables. Why variables? So with the name variable itself, it is clear, right? The value will change, variable, which is varying in nature. And data types means what are the values you can store in it. You can either store true, false. It depends on your use case. You can store integer, you can store float, you can store double, or you can store string. Based on your use case, you will have different data types with which there will be some variable associated to. So let's try to understand the syntax here. But at least this part is clear, right? Definition is clear for everyone. Any doubts related to definition? What are data types? What is variable? So variable is something whose values changes, and data type, what are the data you can store in this variable, that is known as your data type. So this is my data type int. In this, in my variable a, I can store integer values. So this is how you will declare in Java. So in Java, right, each and every line will end with a semicolon. First, you will have to provide the data type associated to it. Then you will have to give some meaningful name to that variable. Post that, you will assign some value to it. So this is the very basic syntax in Java, how you are going to store your values. Now, if you want to print this value, what you will do, you will take this variable and you can print this variable. So what I'll do, I'll just write some print statement with this value. So what this command will do, what this line will do, it will print A for me. Now as my output, I'll be able to see value associated to A. Is this syntax clear for everyone? What are we trying to do here? Int A is equal to 1. What do we mean by this? Yes, we have stored 1 in A. Yes, that's the correct answer. What type of value we are storing in A? Is it integer, string, boolean? What type of value we are storing in A? Integer? Correct, correct. So now everyone is able to understand, right? What is the syntax for Java in order to store the variables? Now what will happen if we want to store the string value? What will happen there? Now, if I want to store the string value, I'll write something as string, then some name associated to it. Let's take example of name only. Or if I want to store first name, so I'll name that variable as first name. Then I'll store my first name over there, Pallavi. So this is how you can declare a string. Now I wanted to declare integer, or if I want to declare it as num1 because I want to add two numbers, so I'll make it as num1. Now I want to store num1. So this is how you will declare. So these are some of the basic syntax. So similarly, right, let's try to quickly do it, do a hands-on together for different variables. We saw example of two variables here. That was for string and integer. Let's quickly try to do for other variables also, other data types. So for Boolean, instead of int, you will write Boolean. Then after that, the name of variable and what value you want to associate to it. Then for character, if you want to store A, B, C, some specific character, you will have the symbol as char. Then you can assign some value. Int, we already saw it together. Same for long. And for float, you can write it in same way. So everyone please open your Replit and try to do the activity for all the data types and try to print all 5 data types. I'll wait here for 2 minutes. Everyone please give it a try. I'll keep this page open and everyone please try to write down for all 5 and paste your answers in chat window. What do you see as print statement? So what you have to do, you have to declare the data type. You have to declare the variables with all these 5 data types and then print those values. You can make use of whatever I have done for integer and string. You can use same thing. Let me provide this in chat window for some help. Guys, please do it for all the 5 variables. So is everyone able to get the output? Everyone able to print all this? Guys, please answer. Any difficulty? Guys, please answer. Is everyone able to do it? I'll also do it together, but everyone is able to do it, right? Any issues? Or any doubts related to data types? Any clarification required? Okay, Ayush, even I'll do it together, then we will see. Okay. Okay, Abhishek, long might go out of range. So you can reduce that. Whatever values we have given, right? You can just reduce that. It would be out of context. So Ayush, you need to specify F at the end. Please specify F at the end for the floating point. And for double, specify D at the end. I think after that, it will resolve your issue. Please try to do that. Okay, so Sagnik, actually that depends on the size of byte what you want to store. So for float, right, you can store up to 6 to 7 decimal digits. But in case of double, you can store up to 15 decimal digit. So that's why you have both the values to store the decimal. So it depends on your byte size. All these, right, your int, float, long, double, they have some storage limit to it, like 1 byte, 2 byte. So your double has more storage compared to your float. The storage is fixed. This is defined from the Java side, like this integer will take 4 bytes, something like that. It is defined from their side. So is everyone able to run their code? Guys, please answer. And in case if someone is not able to do it, please follow it along. Even I'm trying to do the coding together. Is everyone able to get the output? Guys, please quickly answer yes, no, because we have more coding to do together. Okay, fair enough. Any doubts related to this? Any doubts, any clarification related to this, or everyone was able to get the context? Okay, fair enough. So this is what we have seen so far. We were able to declare all the data types. We were able to declare variables with different data types. Now let's try to see what are the basic data type present in case of let's try to understand the different primitive data types. So in case of Java, right, we have primitive and non-primitive data type. So primitive are like with which you will associate some single value, but in case of non-primitive, you will have some additional methods also available to you. But today we will see all the primitive data types only, and non-primitive string is very much common, even array is very much common. And these are the various data type available to you. Boolean, then after that you can store char, integer, floating, double. So we have already seen this, like these are the very basic data types available to you based on the category, like numeric can be divided into char with just one character associated to it. Then integer can be integer or it could be floating as well. So in case of int, you can have okay. So with that also, right, you can store it with the ASCII value. Internally, it stores with the ASCII. So that's why they have categorized it in the same context. Mohammed, this is to answer your question. So with ASCII, right, there will be some numeric value associated to each and every character. So that why it comes under the numeric one. But yes, there will be character associated to it. Now the non-primitive one will be your string arrays, and we will do some hands-on together today only for non-primitive also, char and string. But we have seen, right, all the data types so far, and we did some hands-on together. So I think this should be clear for everyone. What are the various data types present in Java? Okay. Ayush, we will see those examples also today. Uh, let's try to see it together. Whatever your question is, right, we will cover that also. Okay. Is there a particular way to name the variables in Java? Can someone answer that? Those who have some brief context about the programming, can someone try to answer this? Is there some particular way with which you can name your variables in Java? Yes, correct. I see multiple answers have come in as camel casing. Yes, that's the correct one. Yes, that's the correct one. So what do we mean by camel casing? We should always start the class name with the caps. So you might have seen here also our class name start with caps. And whenever we want to name some variable, the first character should be small. And if it covers the subsequent characters, like for example, first name. So both are two different words, right? First and name. So first will be in small, F will be in small. Then name, you can start from caps. So this is how you should follow the naming convention. Then for method should always start from small. So this is how you will follow the naming convention in Java. How about what are the keywords in Java? Yes, variable should not contain special character, underscore, dollar sign. Yes, those are the correct answers actually. How about the special keywords in Java? What are the keywords in Java? Yes, correct. So I see that multiple answers have come in chat window. So keywords, right? It basically means there are some predefined special meaning to it, which is reserved for Java. We cannot use those words to name some variable or something like that. For example, static, public, main. So these are some of the reserved keyword for Java, which you cannot use to name some variable. So you can just consider it to be a reservoir for Java. Java has reserved some terms for itself. Let's take example of public, int. So these are some terms, right, which Java has reserved for itself, and it holds some internal meaning to it. So we cannot use those names to name our variables and all. So these are known as keywords in Java. Is it clear for everyone? What are keywords in Java? Okay, fair enough. So this was the question which I saw in the chat box related to typecasting. So that's why I told we will cover it in upcoming slides. So now let's try to understand the typecasting. So far we have seen what is Java. Then we saw variables in Java. Now let's try to understand typecasting associated to those variables in Java. So let's try to understand it together. So what do we mean by typecasting? Can someone try to answer that? Converting from one to another. Yes, correct. Yes, this is what I was expecting here. So what do we mean by typecasting? So now we have seen so far, we can create float, double, int, those type of data types, right? And all of those data types, they were under same category. they were all under numeric category. So those primitive data types, those who fall under same category, can be converted from one to another, right? Can't we do that? Let's take example of double and float. If I want to convert double to float, can I do that? And can I convert float to double? Is it possible? Do you think it will be possible? Guys, please answer. Do you think we can convert float to double and double to float both ways? Yes, correct. It is very much possible to do that. But in order to do so, right, we have to make use of typecasting. So we can convert one type to another. Yes, we will see that. I see that you have answered as not both ways. So we will try to understand that. We can convert it, but there will be loss of data for sure. Because integer, if you're trying to convert integer to float, it won't allow you decimal. So there will be loss of data, but at least you can convert it if you are okay with that loss of data. So we will see that examples today. Yes, float to double, only double to float will be lossy conversion. Yes, that's the correct answer. So let's try to understand it together. So now we have seen that conversion is possible for sure. This everyone is able to understand. Now there are two type of conversion. One, it will be widening casting. So in this case, right, we will convert the smaller one to larger. So in this case, let's take example of our previous one only, that was float to double. So this will come under your widening casting because you are converting from small to bigger. That was from float to double, right? So in this case, there won't be loss of data. You can directly convert it. Is it clear? Clear for everyone? Because it will be lossless conversion. Let's take example. You are staying in 1 BHK. You have some stuffs with you. That was like you are staying in some house that is 1,000 square feet. 1 BHK, 1,000 square feet house. Now you have moved to some other house which is of 3 BHK, 3,000 square feet. So whatever stuff you have, whatever chair, table, bed, whatever you have, you will be able to keep everything in that house, right? In your new 3 BHK house, for sure you will be able to put all those stuff. You will have enough area with you. Yes, no? Correct. Now let's take a scenario. You were staying in 3 BHK house. Now you want to shift to 1 BHK. Can you do that? Can we move from 3 BHK to 1 BHK? I just want to move. I don't have money to afford 3 BHK now. I want to move. So can I move into 1 BHK? Correct, we can move into 1 BHK, but there will be loss of stuff. I'll have to discard some of the things what I have. So it's the same thing here. It was just a example to relate so that everyone is able to relate. So what we saw widening, right? Widening was similar to 1 BHK to 3 BHK. And your narrow casting will be something similar to conversion from 3 BHK to 1 BHK. So in widening, right, you're moving from small area, small byte size was allocated to you, less byte was given to you, but you have moved to higher byte. So less byte data can easily be accommodated to high byte. So this is known as widening casting. So byte has the least number of byte, that is 1 byte. Then you have sort, char, int. So this is the order they have given to you. Byte is the least one, then after that sort, char, int, long, float, double being the highest size allocated to it. So this is the hierarchy. Now if you want to convert some int to double, right? So if you want to convert some int to double, you can easily do this. You just need to create a variable with name double, and you can assign that same int value to it. So let's try to do this hands-on together. Let's not just stick to theory part. Let's try to do the hands-on also. Open your previous activity. Open your previous activity. And try to create a int variable. We already have an int variable. Try to create a double also. Now in this double value, right, try to assign whatever int value you have. Now let's try to print this double and see what happens. Just delete everything extra. Don't retain anything extra. Just try to print that double value. See what happens. Is everyone able to see that? We are easily able to accommodate whatever int value we had to double. Is everyone able to get this? Correct. So we were able to do the widening. Is it clear for everyone? Everyone able to do this assignment? Fair enough. So now we saw this typecasting where we are trying to do the widening part. We were easily able to do that. Now let's see the narrow casting. How can we do that? So we have already seen, right, what is narrow casting. We are trying to convert from bigger to smaller. So in this case, your double will be being the highest one and byte being the lowest one. So this is how the hierarchy goes in the downward direction. Now in order to convert from your double to int, right, you have to explicitly provide, you have to explicitly tell that please convert this double to int. I want to lose some data from this double to int. You have to explicitly mention. So that's why in bracket, right, you will have to provide, you need to convert this double to int in order to typecast in the narrow one. So let's try to do that. Let's try to create another int value, int 2. To that, we will assign this double value. Now before making that changes, try to print this and see what happens. And this time I want error message from you guys. I want to see what output do you guys get. Try to write this code and paste your answers in chat window. What output do you get? Yes, yes, Jadip, that's the correct error. Now, how to rectify that? Can you try to rectify it also and get the answer? Guys, others, is anyone able to get the answer? What was the answer for others? Guys, please try to keep this session interactive. Otherwise, it will be very much difficult for you guys to understand the concept. I want to keep this interactive as much as possible. Now, once if we have written this int, what is the output? Is everyone able to get the answer? Yes, we have to declare a double variable, Ayush. So that's why I have created this double variable. And then I'm trying to convert that double to int. Okay, fair enough. So I believe everyone is able to understand this, right? What is typecasting? Yes, Zahid, it will lose the data. So in integer, right, you won't be able to store the floating points, right? You won't be able to store the floating variables, what is after decimal. So here, let's try to modify it. Okay, make it 1.2, 1.2D, and try to print the output and see what happens. Then you will be able to visualize. See here, we lost that data, whatever was the floating value, right? Because in integer, it will allow you to store only the integer values. It won't allow you to store the decimal one. So we lost that data. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes, Kiran, long to float will be narrow casting. Okay, you are saying that long is larger than float. No, that's not the case. Your float is larger than long. Abhishek, have you declared this variable data types? I see that you have not declared the data types properly. Okay, your code is not inside the public static void main. Abhishek, you have commented out that public static void main and you're writing your code outside that. Okay, fair enough. So we have seen the basics of typecasting. So everyone please try to do the hands-on later. I see that few questions are still there. Will it try to do the floor, ceiling and all those? I don't want to cover that as of now, like because these are some concepts which others might not be aware of, like they might not know what is ceiling and floor and all those. So I don't want to go into that. I just want to stick to basic, and for sure that will be covered in upcoming session, Jaideep. Okay, fair enough. So any doubts related to this, or is it clear for everyone? Okay, fair enough. So we saw the typecasting. When do we want to use it? We have seen all those stuff. Now let's try to look into a few more concepts. So we have already seen this error message. So can someone answer it? What happens if we assign the larger value to smaller without casting? So we didn't specify that int. So we observed some error, right? So what happens in that case? Yes, it will lead to some error, because that is a possibly lossy conversion, and we will get that error message. So we have already seen this. Okay, coming to the next question. What happens when I cast the larger to the smaller type and assign? So what happens in this case? Can I get answers for this? Yes, we lose the data. That's the correct answer. So Java, right? It automatically promotes each byte, short or char operand to int. When evaluating the expression, it automatically promotes. So we don't have to worry about that. If you're converting from small to larger, it will automatically do that. If one operand is long, float or double, the whole expression is already promoted to the biggest one. So let's take an example. If you're trying to do addition of two numbers, one is float and one is integer. So by default, it will be always promoted to the bigger one, that is your float value. So this is something which is implicit. So is this clear for everyone? Is everyone able to understand these points? Fair enough. So I guess everyone is completely clear with the typecasting concepts, right? So let's try to understand the array concepts now. Okay. So what do you know about the array? What do you think array is? Can someone answer that? What do you think array is? Okay, fair enough. I see that multiple answers have come in. It is the storage of data of similar type, same data type of data, arrays collection to store same type of data, continuous allocation of memory where data of similar type can be stored, collection of element of same data type, homogeneous data struct, arrays value stored in memory location. Perfect. Actually, I didn't expect that you guys will be able to answer this with the homogeneous term as well. It's really great to know that like you guys have that much understanding about the array. So it was perfectly answered. I guess I don't have to dig deeper into the concept of array. Everyone was able to answer it correctly. So let me reiterate it again. What array is? Array is collection of data. Like you can store data to it, multiple data to it of same type. It will be of same data type. It is the collection of data of similar data type. That's why it is known as homogeneous data store. As I can see in chat box also, we have got this correct answer as homogeneous data struct. So it is used to store data of same type in continuous memory location. Is it clear for everyone what array is? Anyone having any doubt related to what array is? Guys, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question in case if you don't know what array is. There could be someone who doesn't know what array is. So don't feel uncomfortable or something. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions. Is everyone able to understand what array is? Okay, fair enough.
Ma'am, what is continuous memory location?
Okay. So since you are storing multiple values, right? So what happens generally, they tend to have memory location which is continuous to itself. This data will be stored somewhere. So that address will be adjacent to each other. Whatever variables you are creating, right? We saw that variables being created, int A, int B, int C, whatever it was. So that will be stored somewhere, right? So those values, the location where it is stored in your RAM. So in your computer memory, wherever it is stored. So array, whatever data is being stored in these 5 cells, right? It will be stored in continuous memory location. Just some hypothetical scenario, like you won't be able to see it in person, like where it is being stored. But in RAM, right, you have different memory allocated to it. So it will be stored in continuous memory location over there. Is it clear now? So these data need to be stored somewhere. So that location will be continuous one. Okay, fair enough. So once this data is stored, right, so there will be index associated to each and every cell in case of Java. And if you want to add any values to it, you can specify that index and store the values. So that's why you will see in the second picture, it shows the index. Index starts from 0 and it ends at the last value. So it always starts from 0, that index value. So we already know that homogeneous values are allowed. So that's why we were not able to store the heterogeneous values here. So this 0, A, B, 5, true, this will not be allowed. But in our previous example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be allowed because all are integers. But in this next example, it is it is of different heterogeneous data type. Few are integer, few are string, few are Boolean. So this is not allowed in case of array. Is it clear now, everyone? In case of array, we always allow to have same data type. You're not allowed to store values with different data type. Okay. So this is the array. In our activity also, we will try to do same stuff. We will create an array, and at different index location, we will try to store some values to it. So this will be our activity. So let's try to code it together. So this is the syntax to create an array. So if you will see here, right, in your array, you will provide this public static void main. And inside that, this is the syntax to create array. This symbol bracket, opening bracket and closing bracket denotes that you are creating an array with new int 5. So 5 here means you are initializing the size of your array. You are saying that my array would be of size 5. After that, this 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it means that you want to add values at these specific index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you are adding element as these index. And we are initializing with values as 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Then after that, this system.out.println, we are trying to print the values at second index. So this is the whole assignment. We are trying to create a very basic array with only 5 elements. And then we are trying to print the element at second index. So everyone, please try to write this code and see if you are able to execute it. Guys, please write that code in Replit and try to see if you are able to execute it. And guys, I have shared the feedback link in chat box. Please provide your feedback for today's session. Let it be positive, negative, whatever you felt for the session, please provide your feedback. In case, right, these feedbacks are very useful. I'm telling you from my past experience, if you feel something is going in correct direction, you should point out that as well so that we can proceed in same way. And if you think there are some improvisation required, please point out that as well so that we can try to improvise. But please provide your feedback. It's very much helpful for us to provide the best for you guys. Please provide your feedback. And let's try to code this together. So I have provided the code snippet in chat box as well, but I'll also try to code it together. Since I'm switching from tab, so I thought it will be better to provide the code in chat box. Okay, so Jaideep asked one question: why do we specify that new int in line number 3? So Jaideep, in this particular syntax, right, we are trying to specify the declaration for array. So we are just giving the declaration for array that I want array to be of size 5. We are not specifying the element to be stored in this array. So whenever you are declaring something, right, so that time in Java, you have to provide new int, and you are just saying that my size will be 5, and later on you are filling the elements. But in case if you want to follow another convention, so Java has another convention, you can declare the element then and there itself. So if you want, you can follow that as well. But in case if you want to go with declarative form, that is declare the array first and fill it out later, you have to follow this format itself. But in case if you want to go with another syntax, like you want to provide all the element, whatever element you want to store, you want to provide then and there itself, then you don't need to provide new keyword. You can just provide all the element to be stored. So this is just the syntax, how Java works. So since you are declaring something, you have to provide a new int 5. So my size will be 5. So Ayush and Zahid, the concept of pointer and all, let's not dig deeper into that, because these are the concepts which will be covered later on for sure, along with when we are learning about JVM and all this stuff. That time we will talk about these terms. But this is just understand that this is the syntax, how we go about in Java. Like when you have to declare some variable, you have to declare it in this way, because this is declarative form. And in next one, right, we are talking about passing the value then and there itself. Then you don't have to provide new keyword. Does that answer your question? Now coming back to Palak, as Shamilini has already mentioned, it will take 1 or 2 days. After that, it will be updated. That's not a problem. And in case if you have any doubts, right, you can just call her up or ping her. She will be able to help you. Now coming back to this problem statement, is everyone able to get the output? If you will see here, even I have written down the code and I'm able to get the output as 10. So is everyone able to understand how can we declare array in Java? What is array in Java? Okay, fair enough. So this is what we wanted to cover for the day. In next session, right, we will try to dig deeper into array. We will look into some other concept around array. And then after that, we will see other advanced concept also. So that's all we wanted to cover for the day. Guys, please copy that feedback link, whatever I have shared, and please provide your feedback. Let me provide it again. Guys, please copy this link and please provide your feedback. We can end the session now, but please provide the feedback. That's all we had to cover for the day. Thank you, everyone.